Hey everybody, I am Stacy. I'm the owner and artist of New Creations by Stacy, and I'm an elite Dixie Belle retailer here in Ardmore, Alabama at the Rustic Willow, and I'm also a redesign with Prima retailer and content creator. So as you guys are jumping on, just say hey where you're watching from. This isn't usually my time to go live. I normally go live on Fridays, but yesterday I actually had an MRI during my lifetime. It was the only available appointment, so I just kind of pushed it off for today. Let me just go ahead and make sure that I am live here. Okay, oh, actually, I do see somebody jumping on. Like I said, it's not my normal time to go live, so hopefully if you guys see this on a replay, just do hashtag replay. But tonight I have kind of an announcement. I'm actually doing a giveaway, and we're going to be working on one of the items tonight here, this chair, and then I'm also going to be giving away a sunflower transfer from Dixie Belle, as well as this sunflower piece that we did live as well. Hey Ermi, this sunflower piece that we did live as well. And then also I've got a little apothecary box here with sunflowers on it, and you guys should probably start to see this theme here. I was hoping that a few more people would be jumping on before I started kind of talking about what we're doing, but this is the sunflower apothecary box. So like I said, if you watch this on replay, just do hashtag replay, because it's not my normal time. But the reason I'm on tonight, and my sweet friend Ermi, she's on right now with us as well. She is in Germany, and she has, hey Thelma, and she has she's opened up her home to three it's a Ukrainian mom and her two daughters. Their town was bombed and they had to flee Ukraine. They came with nothing but two backpacks and a bag. And so I've started a GoFundMe page to support them, and in conjunction with, hey mom, and in conjunction with Vintage 72, we're actually going to be doing a raffle for all of these items. So a donation through the GoFundMe link, which I have posted here, of any amount, and in $5 increments will get an entry for any chance to win one of these items. And as of Tuesday, they will be in the store, and Vintage 72 will be taking donations, as well as Loose Ends by MJ. So you can enter through any of those channels, and the store is a local pickup. Hey Melissa, the store is a local pickup on the chair, but the rest of the items I can ship within the United States. So I do see a couple people jumping on here. And I'll just talk about this again a little closer to the end, but Ermi is on if you guys have any questions. I'm sure that she can answer, but I started working on these pieces before when this first happened, and I didn't know what I was going to do with them, but I'm so glad that this opportunity has come up to help in some way. So you guys, tonight, like I said, we're going to be working on this chair. We'll actually be working on it live. We're going to finish it up live on the Dixie Belle Paint Company page, Chalk Paint 101 on Monday night too. So let's go ahead. We'll get started on this. And we're actually going to be using some Voodoo Gel Stain. And you guys, I totally forgot. I wanted to announce the giveaway, and so I didn't put the product list of the items we're going to be using tonight on here, but I will go back and do that. And then also, hey Wanda, and then also what I'm doing through April is, if you purchase a sunflower transfer through my website, New Creations by Stacy, Oh, you're not late at all. I'm normally not even on Saturday. But like I said, I didn't want to just cancel altogether because I feel like this is so important. I mean, I just can't even imagine losing my home and having, this makes me want to cry, but and having to leave my country and everything behind. You know, these donations will go to help, I mean, like with food, with just hygiene items, with clothes. The mom is a teacher and they're still trying to run classes. So it's just really important, and that's why I didn't want to skip this live. But like I said, if you're watching on replay, hashtag replay, and if you have any questions, I mean, we're happy to answer. But we're going to go ahead and start with the staining. And as more people jump on, I will go ahead and Ermi, if you're on still, go ahead and if you have anything else to add or to say about the family, please do. Because this will be posted on my page and people will watch on replay. So they'll be able to see those comments. And poor Ermi, it's the middle of the night for her, you guys, in Germany. So she stayed up just for this. So you guys, we are going to, we're going to mix up some of the Voodoo Gel Stain. This is a water-based stain by Dixie Belle. And you've probably seen me do this a few weeks ago, but I'm loving this color. And what we're going to do with this chair is we're going to stain the seat. And then we're going to be working with some sea spray, and we're going to go ahead and do kind of a farmhouse layered finish on everything but the seat. And then we're going to add a sunflower transfer as well on the seat. And that'll probably be on Monday that we add the transfer on the Chalk Paint 101 page. So we're going to start off by mixing a little bit of Black Magic. So how are you guys doing today? I'm never on Saturdays. Let's see here. We're just going to pour a little bit of the Black Magic Voodoo Gel Stain in. And like I said, this is a water-based stain, so it's going to dry really quick for us. You can also paint over it. So that's why I don't have anything taped off. If I accidentally get a little bit of stain up here. Hey, Jennifer. If I, oh, no, that's okay. I'm never even on Saturdays. So I'm just happy you guys are on here. So we're going to mix up some of this Voodoo Gel Stain. This is Tobacco Road. And I'm not measuring anything out, but it won't take too much stain. And you guys, by the way, when this is done, we're actually going to glaze over it with the Voodoo Gel Stain as well. There's so many uses for this. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of Up and Smokin'. And what this is going to do, it's going to give me kind of an aged driftwoody color. Yeah, it definitely is a day of rest. This is going to give me an aged driftwoody color. And like I said, I'm going to be distressing this out quite a bit. So this is just pretty much the first layer here. And you can see on this chair, let me bring you guys in a little bit. I'm going to pop you down so you have a good view of the seat. All right, here we go. And by the way, in the description, I don't even think I said this, but in the description, if you can donate any amount to this family, the GoFundMe link is listed there. And if you've never used GoFundMe before, all of the profits will go to this family. But it will ask you to donate to help support the page. You can just change that to 0. You don't have to donate any additional amounts. Like I said, I'm doing this raffle specifically for this particular family to help them just, you know, with their immediate needs as well as whatever comes in the future. And I believe she still has a brother as well that stayed behind in Ukraine. So we've got, hey Mike. So we've got our color all nice and mixed up, Tobacco Road, Up in Smoke, and Black Magic. And on this chair right here, if you can see, there's a few dark spots. It did have some damage on it. I got a lot of that sanded out. And then I also scrubbed it with Barkeeper's Friend. That's a little trick sometimes to get some of those extra watermarks out. So, excuse me. But you can still kind of see the outline of it. So that's why we're going to be layering in this Voodoo Gel Stain. Some tricks to kind of cover that, but still allow you to stain it and not have to paint so that beautiful wood grain shows through. So to apply it, I'm actually going to be using one of the blue sponges. This one is really kind of in bad shape. And I'm going to actually cut this in half. And you can cut these up. The reason that I'm cutting it up is back here, it's really hard to get into that straight line area. So by cutting it in half, it's going to help me to really get in there and not get the stain in a lot of extra places. And still be able to use this. So again, very, very fast dry time. So you do kind of want to work quickly with this. And as of right now, I'm not adding any additional water to it because I don't want to raise the grain too much. That'll just make me have to do a lot more sanding on it. And I'm not worried about any of the stain that's getting on the back here because this dries very quick. We're going to be able to go right over that. So I just want to stay with the grain of the wood while I'm staining here. And I'm going around the edges as I'm going to because I don't want any of that stain to build up in one spot and just kind of leave it a little bit blotchy looking. We just want to have nice even coverage. I'm kind of forcing this in a little bit with the sponge because there is a lot of like little pockets in the grain here that I want to make sure this stain gets into. Actually, I think I'm going to end up going back here with a brush, and we'll do that in just a minute. When you get a chance, call or message me about the donation. Okay, I definitely will. Thanks, Wanda. I'll message you just as soon as I get off the live. And like I said, this is in conjunction with Vintage 72. So they are taking donations locally as well starting Tuesday. And they will actually hand out raffle tickets. I'm going to be managing all of the online donations. And then also Loose Ends by MJ is collecting. They're an estate sale company here. That's where this chair came from. And she will be giving me entries as well. So see how this is not coming out super even? I don't care about that because I am going to be doing a heavy distress on here and adding layers. So I'm not really concerned about that. I just want to get the stain on here. I'm going to be doing a heavy distress too on the painted portion of it. So it'll be just a really cute farmhousey chair. It'd be perfect for like an accent chair, like a mud room, anything like that. And you guys too, if you win and sunflowers are, you know, not your thing, I can gift these as well. You can gift them to somebody. So if it's something that is not a local pickup and needs to be shipped, if you would win, you can just give me that information at the time. I know sometimes I have a lot of people from Australia and stuff like that that are on. Unfortunately, I'm not able to ship internationally. I kind of stopped that a little over a year ago just because all of the issues with everything going through customs. I think the last shipment I did to Brazil took over three months. So, oh, hey, Felipa. So anyway, you know, I can't ship. I mean, we would definitely appreciate your donation. I mean, even if it's just $1, every little bit would help. So I'm just making sure that I'm getting in all. I've got some little spots where the stain did not sink all the way down, so I'm just kind of scrubbing those areas in. Again, I'm not going for a super conformed look here. Sorry, excuse the puppy dogs. And see, this side is dry already, so I'm actually going over it with a second coat. And I'm just going to spin you guys around to the side so you can really see how this is. Normally, whenever I stain, you see me just try to go very even to get the stain perfect. But like I said, in this case, this is going to be a farmhouse look. I want the wood grain to show through. We're going to be doing the sunflowers on the seat. So I just want to get in all these little spots here. And I'm just going to go over this again, kind of darken it up in some areas. And I'm really kind of trying to streak it out where I'm going back over this. Hey, Mert. And you guys too, even if you can't donate, please share this just so the reach can be increased and really, really help this family. All right, so got a few dark streaks added in here. Just gonna smooth that one out a little bit. Like I said, I'm gonna be doing a distress on here. And then after I do that distress, we're going to be doing glazing as well with the Voodoo Gel Stain. So I've got this section, but I want to go ahead and take one of my premium chip brushes here. And these are by Dixie Belle, and I really want to get into, I know, I left the front door open. I think it's what it is. So she's probably going to be barking the entire time. So we're just going to put a little bit of the stain on one of these brushes, and I'm going to go through and just outline right here to make sure that the stain has gotten in all these little cracks and crevices. Like I said, if this was an oil-based stain, I would not be putting the stain on the part we're going to be painting because it would take so long to dry, I wouldn't be able to paint this for about 3 to 5 days over a water-based paint. But this Voodoo Gel Stain dries. It's soap and water cleanup. It dries within about 15 minutes. So we'll be able to go right over this in paint. All right, so I've got a couple spots on the side here. And they're really way down under. I think you can probably just see a little portion of it. But those are just the sides around here. I just want to go ahead and get in here with the brush. And by the way, I will end up taping this off before we start painting. But you guys, I want to warn you ahead of time. This chair is going to end in a really ugly state tonight. You'll probably think, oh my gosh, what is she doing? But once it's finished, it'll look wonderful. Sometimes I think, oh, what am I doing? Because it's always an ugly state before it gets pretty. Oh no, Ermi, you're incredible. I mean, just opening your home up is huge. And I pray that this gets out to a lot of people, and I pray for this family and so many others that are just displaced right now. Like I said, I can't even imagine. Okay, so we're just going to get this little side section under here as well. Hopefully you guys can see, and my head isn't in the way of the camera. I could have flipped this over, but I'm kind of limited on my motion right now, so there we go. So we should have all of this area. I just want to make sure that it's all nice and stained here. And I do have my heat gun out because I've got it a little thick in some spots, but I don't think we'll need it. All right, perfect. So we've got this section all stained up. And as it dries, it's going to even out a little bit, but it still will be streaky. Voodoo Gel Stain's close to the color of coffee bean. So no. So Jennifer asked if there's any no pain gel stain like coffee bean. There isn't. However, I always mix my no pain gel stain, and so coffee bean has a slightly gray base, and it is it's got a slightly gray base. And if you mix the black magic, so you'd want more of the black, and then some of the tobacco road to give it the brown color, and then just a little bit of the up in smoke, that will give you a color just like coffee bean. I mix mine up all the time. So you can get a coffee bean color, and a walnut color, you can achieve that by like just the tobacco road and the black magic. So you can get a lot of different colored stains. There's 7 different colors of the Voodoo Gel Stain, and you can mix your own and get a lot of different colored stains. So what we want to do now is go ahead and do the chair back here, and I'm going to pop you guys up just a little bit. Like I said, projects always look ugly before they look better. So I just want to tell you it's going to end in an ugly state tonight. So we're going to start off by adding a little bit of texture here. And we're going to actually use coffee bean to do that with, and some sea spray. So this is sea spray. It is a texture additive. And like I told you guys before, I'm going to be sanding this down. So while I'm adding texture right now, it's to achieve a certain look. It is not for, in the end, for me to be able to feel texture on it. When you add texture, and depending on how you brush it on, will determine how it looks. But once you sand it down, you can either kind of make it look chippy. You can also get some other looks here. And actually, give me just a second, because my coffee bean, I'm going to have paint all over me by this. I had a little dried up piece in my coffee bean, so I just kind of had to clear that out of the spout. And then we're going to go ahead and, well, there we go. Give me just a sec. Let me get a little bit of the coffee bean in here. Actually, we're just going to open it up and pour it in. So this is coffee bean. It's a very, very dark brown as it looks here. But like I said, it does have a gray base. So if you're ever using it to mix colors and you try to lighten it up, it's going to actually turn gray. So that's just something that's good to know. So with this texture additive, it comes in a powder form. This one it's a Ziploc, so you don't have to keep it in the Ziploc bag, but I accidentally cut it instead of when I opened it, so I just keep it in a Ziploc bag. But you can see it's a little powder, and it comes with a little scooper, and so it's 2 scoops. The actual measurement and the directions is 2 scoops for every 8 ounces of paint. I never actually measure the ratio. Recommended is kind of a brownie batter consistency, and that's what 2 scoops to 8 ounces of paint will give you. But I'm just going to use the same spoon I used. I don't really measure it. I just kind of start mixing until I get a consistency that I want. You do want to make sure that you mix it up thoroughly though, because you don't want any like little white powder pieces or anything like that to show. You want it to be the color of your paint. Oh, thank you so much, Thelma. And you guys, I'll show you the items again because I know this isn't my normal time. It took a while for a few minutes for some people to jump on. So I'll show you guys again the pieces that are being raffled off. And thank you, Thelma, because Thelma cut the stencil for me. I was having some issues, and Thelma cut the stencil for me for one of the pieces. So she actually was a huge help in that way as well. So, all right, perfect. So you can see it's not super thick, but it's thicker than the paint. Actually, I think I'm going to add just a little bit more texture here, or just a little bit more of the sea spray here. Make it a little bit more textured. The reason I don't mix up large amounts is because this stuff doesn't store well. Even if you've got it in an airtight container, it tends to continue to harden and thicken. So when you go back to use it, it's almost like mud. So I don't... It's just not good to let it sit. So I usually just mix up the amount that I'm going to use at that particular time. So I've got just a little bit mixed up here, and I mainly want to get this into the cracks and crevices. I didn't tape this off, so I'm not going to mess with down here for right now. I'll come back and do that later. So I'm just putting a little bit on my brush. Again, we're using the Premium Chick brushes. Well, Jennifer, if you're baking brownies, can you share, please? And yeah, using this color, it really looks like brownie batter. Now you're going to make me want some. So all I'm going to do, I'm putting this more so, and I'm kind of dabbing it on. I'm putting it more so in like areas that would be more aged out. If you saw something that had been, you know, like layered over time, you're usually going to see that darker, more rustic look, kind of in the corners, on the edges, stuff like that. So I'm just kind of adding this in here, and I'm dabbing it on. So it's going to create some little peaks, and that's what I'm doing in this section. So let's kind of come up from the bottom too. I'm not really worried if I get this on the chair because like I said, we're going to be doing some more sanding. So I'm not really concerned too much about this seat part. Like I said, it's going to be very weathered looking. And I don't even think I'm going to have to do anything to clean up those spots right there with the way that I put it on. Sometimes I'll have to go back and dry brush a little bit over if I have a really damaged spot to kind of cover that up. But I don't even think that's going to be an issue. So we're just going to add some of this texture in here. And you may be wondering, if I don't want texture on this piece, you know, like why am I doing this? Because all of these little peaks, when I sand this down when I hit it with my sander, hey Jerry, when I hit it with my sander, it's going to take off the top coats of paint that we put over this, and it's going to leave like little speckled spots in there, like it chipped off naturally over time. So that's why I am doing this, because I want it to look chippy, kind of old and worn. I'm not going to go too far down there because I don't want to mess up my seat too much. I just want to get this kind of on edges, like in places that you would see like a shadow. Where I'm putting it on thinner, it's going to be thinner. Now, another way that you can add the texture on here is you can go like in a crosshatch motion, and that'll create a really nice effect as well when you go to sand it down. Let's go ahead and spin this around and do the back. I'm going to do the bottom of this later. So this chair, it's going to be in the store as of Tuesday at Vintage 72. So now you guys kind of have a closer look here. Oh, hey, Wanda. So there is, I have a link for the GoFundMe. So for every $5 donated is an entry to win one of these items. And so you can donate through GoFundMe. And then also the store is accepting donations. That's Vintage 72. By the way, you guys, I'm not the Dixie Belle retailer at Vintage 72, but I do carry furniture there and a few Redesign with Prima products. And they do have Dixie Belle paint there as well. But the store is actually, Vintage 72 is actually helping with this. So these items, you can see them in the store that I'm donating and raffling off. They can be seen in the store, and you can make donations at the store as well, or through the GoFundMe link that's in the description here. And I'm doing the same thing on the back. I'm just getting into all of these areas here. Also, another thing that this texture is doing is when we do the Voodoo Gel glaze on Monday over the paint, it's going to give that Voodoo Gel Stain a lot of places to kind of sink into. It's going to give us a lot of extra added depth and dimension. And you guys, by the way, if I forgot to mention, I am donating all proceeds from the sales of the Sunflower Transfer by Dixie Belle on my website. So if you buy one of these transfers on my website, any of the profits will be donated as well to help this family. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm working on now there. Let me scoot you back just a little bit so you can kind of get that angle. And again, I'm just keeping it the same thing. We're going into all of these little cracks and crevices here. So, I mean, this is super easy. There's no real, this is just random dabbing on of this texture additive. So once we get this done, we'll go ahead and spin it back around to the front, and we'll start doing some painting on here. I do have my heat gun out because when you add a texture additive, it does take a little bit longer for the paint to dry. So here we go. So I think that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and probably maybe get a little bit on the side over here. Kind of coming down maybe from the top. And you know, you usually have texture. If you're looking at an old piece of furniture, all these cracks and crevices where all that dust and everything settles, that just doesn't get cleaned well, that's usually where you see like a natural texture on a piece. So that's kind of why I'm keeping it to these areas. Like I said, I'm going to end up taping that off, but I just don't want to waste too much time while you guys are on with the taping part of it. So let's go ahead and do some of the painting. And we're going to be using a few different colors. I'm going to kind of let this dry a little bit more. I may end up having to hit it with the heat gun, but see, like down here where it's not as thick, that's almost already dry. So in order to match the Sunflower Transfer, and the one I'm using, like I said, I've done quite a few pieces. So I've just got pieces left of it. We'll be layering these in, probably coming in from the corner or something like that over here. But so you can see all the little different sunflowers that it has. It comes in 4 sheets. So lots of sunflowers you can layer in, and then there's also some sunflower groupings that you can do. So you can see, like I said, we'll be layering these in on Monday night. Those are just scraps there. And then some of the groupings that they have as well. We may end up using this one. I know, me too. I've been using it like crazy. And it goes such a long ways. But one of the giveaways is going to be the sunflower transfer. So we've got that there. All right, so for the body of this, so now that you guys have seen the sunflowers, we're going to be using some kernel mustard. We're going to be doing layers. We're going to use some kernel mustard. I'll show you the color once I get it out too. Let me just go ahead and open these. So kernel mustard, my kernel mustard is new here. Oh, I just see Thelma answered. I thought, oh no, I didn't post the GoFundMe link. I read it wrong. All right, so this is a new kernel mustard. So you do want to shake it and stir it up, or you could just stir it too. Well, let me see. I'm going to have paint all over me by the time this is over. I'm terrible at opening these containers. So this is the kernel mustard. And then I think I'm just going to paint out of my jars to save us a little bit of time here. Normally I don't, but I've also got some chocolate here that we'll be using for shading. Thank you guys so much for helping. Hey, Heather. All right, so we've got some chocolate, and then I've also got some Rebel Yellow here. This is going to be our lighter yellow color. And then I've also got some pine cone, which is just slightly lighter than the chocolate. That's great for shading. Great to create a patina look as well. So you can kind of see how that looks. And we're going to be using, actually I'm going to roll back here just because it's easier to get my brushes back here than off the floor on the other side. But we are going to be using premium chip brushes. And the reason that we're using these type of brushes is these lend themselves to texture. They're a natural bristle brush, so anytime you want texture, you're doing layers, these are fabulous to use. If you're looking, oh, thank you. If you are looking for a very nice level finish, our synthetic brushes are what you want to go with then. So let's see. I've still got some of this wet. What'll happen is if I go over a wet area, it's going to create more of a blend. So let's go ahead and I don't want to get paint. Hold on. I don't want to get paint all over this. I've got paint all over my fingers. So actually, let me show you guys, since I'm moving it right now anyway, to use my outlet here. So this is one of the items that will be, it says Faith Over Fear. This is one of the items that will be raffled off. And let me just get this out of the way. Along with the sunflower transfer for all the crafty people. And then let me get this out of the way. This is the apothecary box. So if you were late popping on, this apothecary box, well, this little cabinet, 3 drawers, is also being donated to raffle off as well, along with this chair. And those, if I didn't say, it's in the description, but we'll actually be doing the raffle on the 12th of April, and it'll be listed on my social media page, Vintage 72, the winners. On the Vintage 72 social media page, as well as the Loose Ends by MJ page. So we're just going to get some of this texture dry here. So this is all dry pretty much here at the bottom. See if I can speed this up a little bit more. So normally, whenever you use the texture additive before you start layering in, you'd normally want to wait like an hour or two for it to dry up and harden a little bit. But we're kind of rushing the process here, and that's okay. It's not a big deal. If it's a little wet, it's just going to do a little blending. So we're going to go ahead, and like I told you guys, tonight it's going to end in a super ugly phase. You're going to just be wondering what in the world I'm doing. So all I'm doing, I'm putting a little paint on my brush, and I'm lightly flicking across here. I can go in different directions. That's just going to give me a little more added texture. But I kind of want the feel like almost like this is, you know, like the petals from the sunflower, and we've got the stained area that would be like the center. I'm not worried if I have drips either. That's just going to enhance the look. In some places, I'll go ahead and dab because that's just going to give me a little bit more texture on here. I can also go in different directions. All of that adds to the layering effect. You don't want to keep everything super uniform. I'm not really blending, so I'm trying to let it get a little bit dry. And I'm kind of dabbing around some of these areas where I put the texture because I want it to get into some of these spots, but then also that coffee bean to kind of show through. And if you have ever painted furniture, you know it hits the ugly phase before it looks cute. So this is really no rhyme or reason. We're just going over here. Some places I have the paint very thick. Trying to stay away from this bottom section too much. Some places I have the paint thick. Some places it looks more like a dry brush. So up here at the top though, I think I might do a little bit more of a blending effect. I also have the texture from this oak chair in here. So I'm going to grab a second premium chip brush here. And let me see. Okay, Ermi is on. She's saying that if you have any questions about their situation, she's happy to answer those. Like I said, she stayed up tonight, bless her, to be on tonight. It's the middle of the night for them in Germany. So this is the Rebel Yellow. And I'm going to kind of bring this into the middle. Like I said, it looks crazy right now, but it's going to come together. I want to kind of bring that into the middle. And you see how when I'm dry brushing over, well, hopefully you can see. Here, I'll bring you guys in a minute. When I'm dry brushing, where that texture, those high points, this paint is catching on those high points. And it's creating a really cool look. Let's go ahead and dab some of that in. We're going to come back with some of the Colonel Mustard. Let's go up from the bottom here. I'm only going to be doing one coat on this chair. And when I heavily distress it out, this is all going to come together. It's not going to look so patchy. Really just wanting to pick up some of the highlights, give it a layered look. Like it's been like this for some time. It's just been painted over the years. And let's come down here. But the sanding on this is what's going to make all the difference in the world. Let's go. And actually, I don't even know that I'm going to use the chocolate or the pine cone. I did get those out to use some shading, but I actually don't think I'm going to need it with this textured coffee bean under here. Plus, with how textured this wood is, when I do that distress, that wood comes out. And when I do the distress, and we go over this with a stain glaze, it's going to stain all of this wood underneath, the same pretty much as this chair seat right here. All right, so I'm really liking where that's going. And you guys, I might run a little bit over today. Oh, thanks, Wanda. I know, but it's going to end looking crazy today. I know it's going to end looking crazy. It's all those last steps that make such a difference. And you guys, when I first started painting furniture, if you want to hear something funny, every single piece of furniture I did, I would start painting and I would think, oh my gosh, I've messed this up. This is going to be terrible. You know, it doesn't come together until the end. It really does not. But this is just another way to make this super, like the door behind here, just that super aged, grungy kind of finish. So you guys can see the side over here and what I'm doing with it. Like I said, I probably will run a little bit over tonight just because I really wanted to talk about this fundraiser for this family. I just think about myself being in that situation and just, all the things that you would go through. And that's kind of why we went with faith over fear on that wall decor, because it really, to get through this just emotionally, I can't even imagine. I just can't imagine for them. All right, oops, let me grab the Colonel Mustard again. We're just going to keep going with this crazy paint job to give it this layered look. It's going to look like it has so much depth and dimension whenever we get done with this. And I'm kind of keeping, so when you would see a highlight, you would see that lighter color more towards the center on a highlight usually. Depending on how the light's hitting something. So that's why I'm keeping this Rebel Yellow more so towards the center. And I wish I had a little more coffee bean up there. Probably come back and add that in. So then we're going to come in with some more Rebel Yellow up here. Wow, that looks really bright on camera, but it's not really this bright. Keeping that highlight more so towards the middle. I'm going to switch back over. I'm not adding any paint here, but I'm coming in with that Colonel Mustard and just kind of blending this a little bit. So I'm getting a lot of different yellow colors in here. Thelma, they are 16 and 20, well, I'm going to let Ermi, 22 or 23, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so let's go ahead and get some more Colonel Mustard going on this side. And thank you guys again so much for supporting them and for donating. And some of this was not dry. I actually just carried some of that coffee bean over there. So I did not hit this back part with the heat gun. So let's go ahead and dab just a little bit more of this in. And then maybe a little bit. It looks so different in person than it does on camera. I'm always amazed. Victoria's 23. So Ermi said that Julia's 16 and Victoria is 23. And I'm going to be adding some, I set up the GoFundMe page, but I'm going to be adding some updates and some details on it as well. I just wanted to have it set up so that we could go ahead and get started with this. So you guys, now I actually think that I'm going to come back in and do a little dry brushing. So I'll probably finish, I'm going to finish this one little section, and then I will, I'm way over on time, but like I said, I wanted to really get into that. So I'm just going to come in here. So this is chocolate, and I'm going to add a little dry brushing. So again, no, this is not going to be my final look. Because once I hit this with the sander, I'm adding some shading in here. I have very little paint on my brush, and I'm just dabbing this in to create another layer of just really grungy look. Yes. That is just, oh, God bless them. You guys, I was afraid when I was talking to you when I first came on that I was really going to start crying because I just can't even imagine. And there's just so much we take for granted, you know, like my knee is messed up, but I just went, I mean, I'm thankful. I just went and got an MRI. I was able to, I mean, I have access to healthcare. You know, they've lost everything. And I don't know what, you know, if they would need health care, like what that looks like. Just, I don't know. I just think about so many things that come with that situation. So we're just doing some dry brushing. I'm going to bring you guys in so you can really see this. And what happens too is all that texture that we just did when I'm dry brushing on here, it is picking up. I'm just going to go very light, very little paint on here. There go the babies again. So that's actually a perfect, this is perfect right here. I'm really happy with this. So I will just come in and we'll do the distressing on this section. And I'll actually end up painting the rest of the chairs this way. So we didn't end up using the pine cone. But that's okay. I really just got out all these colors so I could start painting and kind of see where I wanted to go and what I liked. I didn't have a 100% plan. But you know, it's all about the details. Especially when you're in person, a lot of them get lost on camera. But you can really see how this looks so aged in person in so many layers. Yeah, I know. And in a foreign country, like, that's huge. No, Jennifer, I will not do another coat over this. What I will end up doing is hitting this with the sander. So once I have all the chair painted like this, I'm going to hit it with my sander, probably with a 220 grit sandpaper, so I have a little bit more control. It's also going to smooth it out, make it feel really nice. And then Monday night, we're actually going to glaze with the Voodoo Gel Stain. We're going to mix it up kind of like we did today. And we're going to glaze over this. And then we're also going to put the transfer on. I'm going to age out the transfer as well. So I'll have to do a coat of protectant after the transfer. And then I will actually stain over the transfer as well to age it out so that it kind of looks like it's up with the rest of the chair. But this will only be one coat. As I go through this, I'll paint everything just how I want it. On the front, I'm probably going to come back around and do a little bit more dry brushing. I didn't go in and do the aging or anything like that, but that's it. I will paint the whole chair this way and I'll be done. But I'm going to bring you guys in for a close-up because I know a lot of those last details, you're not really able to see that. So let me get the paint out of the way so I don't do anything dangerous. And then hold on. And let me bring you guys in. So this is kind of, so you can see here, whoops, make sure I don't dump the camera again. So I haven't really done in this groove right here. But you can see that aging. You can see all that shading that we just put in with the with the chocolate, and then with the different, how you kind of have different shades, even just by using those two colors, by doing the dry brush with the paint still a little bit wet and in different processes of drying. So a lot of my aged pieces, this is how I do them. You know, I can't say that I ever really have a plan when I do a piece like this. It just, as I paint, it kind of comes together. But that's it. Like I said, it's going to end really crazy looking. But I will have everything caught up for our live on Monday night on Chalk Paint 101. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for donating to help support this family. And I'll be doing a lot of posts. Once I get this chair done, I'll stage it, post it with all of the other pieces that will be entered for you to win. And I'll do one post with all that information as well. But like I said, so it's running for about 2 weeks, April 12th. So it's a little over 2 weeks. And then I will be announcing the winners. But you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. And like I said, even if you can't donate, if you can please just share this video to increase the reach, it would just be so wonderful. Again, thank you so much. And you guys take care. Have a great night. Thank you, Ermi, for staying up and being on tonight. Thanks, Jennifer. I'll see you Monday. And you guys, thank you again. Have a great night. I'll message you, Wanda, too, as soon as I jump off. Thanks.